This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Mintz.
I woke him up with my call, but it was 11 in the morning, and so I took my chances. The offer came through 30 minutes prior. I didn't want them waiting any longer than necessary given the figure they had put on the table. He hit me with a, "Do you know what time it is?" just as predicted. Almost midday. "Yeah, early," he said. He worked nights, so I get it. He needs sleep. But our business is done in the daylight. Listen, we have a very lucrative offer from the Liparado Crown Prince to play at the annual Liparado City Comedy Festival. I don't expect you to entertain the invitation, but it would be remiss of me not to. "Why wouldn't I entertain the offer?" he asked. "Are you serious?" I wondered. I thought it went without saying. I was wrong. Yes, I am serious. My wife is bugging me for that place up in the Hamptons. She is sick to death of renting out the cabin once a year. You know what she says to me? She says, "Will, when you gonna buy us a real house for the holidays?" It's like, Jesus Christ, I host SNL 3 times in 1 year. I win the Grammy for Best Comedy Album. I topple the podcast charts, and it still ain't a fucking enough for this woman. So yes, as my business manager, I am seriously asking you, why the hell wouldn't I entertain such an invitation? Rambling. It was a thing of his. A nasty habit. You don't get to the top of the stand-up heights without it, I suppose. But it was enough to knock any topic off course, any conversation off track. "Will, the Liparado royal family are single-handedly responsible for the death of hundreds, if not thousands, of workers who have either immigrated or were kidnapped to work on their Liparado City project. Slave labor is rampant, and any efforts by journalists to cover the atrocities have been met by hostile resistance that has included, amongst other things, cross-border assassination attempts and successes. You don't read the news?" I felt my tone out of line. But he was my biggest client. At one point, he was my only client. Losing him would be losing my business. It's not that I didn't want him to take the money. It's that I was afraid if he did, his reputation would be ruined and his ability to earn would be down the toilet. This would affect my ability to earn. "You being a fucking wise guy to me?" he said. He often turned on the Robert De Niro Goodfellas act when he was cornered. I usually never dared, but his ignorance, a byproduct of his rapid rise, was infuriating. "You calling me a dumbass?" he said with even more aggression. I knew he could kick my ass if he tried. He worked out almost every day. That's all he ever did nowadays. His act had gone stale. His hunger satisfied. He was not the same comic I first represented. "Will, I am not calling you a dumbass. I am just stressing to you the importance of being informed on this one. Just this one. No others. This one is different. This isn't a Saturday at the Garden or a sellout at Wembley Arena. This is Liparado. They're thugs, criminals, slave holders. I mean, Jesus, Will, this one could damage you." "How much?" he asked. He didn't want to know. He didn't want to hear. "How much what?" "Don't be a smartass. How much they offering? You wouldn't be calling me this early without a dollar figure," he said. $1,500,000. It was the largest offer he had ever been given. He could probably haggle for more. "Yes," was all he said as the line went dead. I looked at the phone as I placed it down on my desk. The Liparados were waiting. Will was their biggest draw. His green light would pave the way for the others. Pretty soon this backwater little festival would snowball into the biggest comedy festival in the world. I looked at my laptop, pretending my time was idle. The offer was also made in email. I read the terms. No references to the king, the queen, any of the princes of the House of Liparado, the political situation, the sexual orientation of anyone on the planet. No mention of religion of any kind. No humorous anecdotes relating to sexual experiences or in relation to gender or sex in any capacity whatsoever. No mention of transgender, transsexual, homosexual, heterosexual, or any medical or health-related sexuality in any shape, capacity, way, or form. Any anecdotes and jokes will be limited and refined according to the Ministry of Entertainment for vetting and in certain circumstances, rewriting. I put the phone back to my ear. I needed to be crystal clear this time. What? There are strict terms, very strict. The answer is yes, conversation over. You don't understand. No, you don't understand, he said. The line went dead. I was to make the call. I punched in the international area code and the number given. I waited for the ringtone to finish as the robotic operator informed me of the office I had reached. I punched in the corresponding number on my touchpad to be put through to the Minister for Entertainment's main line. After another session of ringtones, I was put through to an operator sitting at what I assumed was the minister's reception desk. "Hi, this is Casey Minchley. I represent Will Donaldsey. I am ringing to discuss the offer to appear at the Liparado City Comedy Festival," I explained. "Yes, Mr. Minchley. Yes, Mr. Donaldsey has politely declined the offer to appear at the festival and wishes to send you the following warm goodbye. Fuck you and your evil blood money, burn in hell, and thank you very much." I hung up the phone and tried to counter my rapidly pulsating heartbeat with deep breaths. After 5 minutes, it worked. I was calm. I had accepted my fate that I was to be fired later that afternoon, or perhaps the following day, or perhaps next month, or maybe never. Will never read the papers, never checked his emails, and never watched the news. Maybe he will forget all about this. I reviewed my emails and looked for other corporate gigs that had slipped through the cracks. Maybe there is a way to get his wife that house in the Hamptons without losing his reputation, and by extension, my meal ticket. No luck so far. I Googled Silicon Valley honchos to find out when their birthdays are. Perhaps some, maybe even one, might be convinced to throw themselves a bash this year. What better way to celebrate than with Will Donaldsey headlining? It's November, but I can already see 3 candidates. I start ringing my contacts and I make the sign of the cross, even though I am not Catholic. I find it brings me luck. The phone rings.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.